Live from Austin, Texas, you're listening to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North, a live podcast covering random topics such as relationships, current news, and everyday life issues, along with my co-hosts, Chris McAllister and Andrea Clark. Get ready for the next few minutes as we hope to make you laugh, educate, and inspire you. Welcome to the Next 15 Podcast Show. It's Friday, guys, 7 o'clock. And you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Next 15 Podcast Show. And I have my co-host, Chris McAllister.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You know, like I like to say, it's always good to be back in the saddle.
And I can't forget, she's in the chat room. You know who it is. It's Andrea Clark. What up, Andrea?
What up, everybody? Like I always say, I can't see your face, so just hit me up in the place.
You like saying that, don't you, Andrea?
I do.
It is catchy. I like that.
It is. Hey, first of all, I just want to thank everybody that is listening by way of Spreaker. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. And also, if you're at next15podcast.com, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by the website and going in and listening to us for tonight's podcast. And also, you can follow us at Next 15 Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Almost forgot what I was going to say. For y'all that follow us, you know I'm kind of have a little anxiety going on because I just came off of a parasail about an hour ago. And Andrea talked me into doing.
Oh my God!
Don't
man.
blame that on me.
Never again.
It looked like y'all were having so much fun, man. Like I wish me and my wife was there to be there to have fun with you.
I know, dude. It was cool, man. I enjoyed myself. I was scared, I'm not gonna lie, but when I got up there, I kind of felt good. It felt good being up there.
That's awesome. Did you feel like you were close to Jesus?
Yeah, because I was acting like it. I was closer to him than I've ever been before. No. Anyway, guys, you know what it is. We've advertised it. My co-host Chris McAllister is about to take the wheel or take the saddle. So Chris McAllister, Joe, take it away, bro.
Hey, everybody, listen, we're so happy that you're here with us at the Next 15. We have an awesome show for you. It is called Reverse. There is a saying in the world, and it goes a little like this: what is will not always be. There are so many things in life that start out one way, and in the middle of life, it begins to reverse on you. And tonight, that's what we're going to explore. Some of the things in life that we maybe not even known that have reversed on us. So yeah, it's going to get good, guys.
Oh, man, I'm excited about this episode. We have no idea, Andrea and I, what Chris is about to bring to the table. What we know is going to be good, and we know it's going to make you laugh, and it's going to educate you at the same time.
So yeah, man. So let's jump right into it, man. So as we begin to talk about reverse, we talk about life, and if for everybody who's who's listening on tonight, man, if you're any of age, or if you're in your 30s and your 40s, you'll begin to kind of understand where I'm coming from, and we're gonna dig into a couple of things tonight. But I want to start off this conversation by talking about how the male figure, especially in the African American community, has reversed on us, from the clothing to how we act to even how we respond. Everybody talks about if you listen to social media or just media in general, how the black man has been feminized over the years, and now you kind of see it. And so if you look back in the 90s on how quote unquote we used to be as men, and I get it, the baggy jeans, the baggy shirts and all that, but now every dude's wearing tight skinny jeans, even to the extremism of dresses. Do you know what I mean? And so that once thing that was hasn't always been. And so in a reverse, I want to get y'all opinion on how do you feel about the totality of or what has changed in the male figure. I'm not going to say just the black men because it is the black men, but it does hit every race where the man has become feminized over time. How do you guys feel about that?
You know what? I think the male figure has been feminized, mainly partly because I think we've just have gotten relaxed and we have depended on the woman,
Right.
to do what we should be doing. I'm not trying to sound like a male chauvinist or anything like that, but I mean, I think there's some things that a man should do that only a man should do. Out of, not to say that a woman can't do it, but out of respect for a woman and out of respect, just being a man at the end of the day,
Right.
like let her wear the dresses. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because I've seen some of the basketball stars doing that, wearing kilt or dresses and with these Louis Vuitton bags and stuff like that. Man, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. So from a woman's perspective, when you see that, I mean, how does that make you feel?
Oh gosh, when I see that, I mean, when I see the skinny jeans, of course, that's not what I'm attracted to or nothing like that. It's not something that I'll be like, oh, that's okay to wear.
Mhm.
So that really doesn't matter. But then when you have the Louis Vuitton cross bag or, then that's kind of like a question mark. Like, what's, it make you, it make you check your
Manhood.
yes. That's the word.
Hey, I see Bree in the
I am so nervous. Theo.
Hey, she said she's nervous from the parasailing. Hey, Bree, we see you.
But yeah, I mean, with that being said, guys, like it's crazy to look at how quote unquote what a man used to be responsible for. You know what I mean? And I mean, even to dig into, I know we talked about this once before on the podcast about, the breadwinner, with a man being a breadwinner. And now vice versa. I was reading a report just the other day that, back in the early 1900s, that the men were the predominant workers in society. Now in now the report was talking 2020 or 2019, I'm sorry, 2019, that women dominate the workforce by 27%.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so the reverse. So now the woman is, I mean, not just saying that she's going to be the breadwinner, but most of the time she gets a job before the man can. You know what I mean? And I might feel like a little bit is that because they can do a little bit more than most men. I mean, I'm not no cook. My wife can cook. I can clean, but my wife is a cleaner. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so it's just that that reverse has happened, and so like, where did we go wrong? You know what I mean? Like, what happened in regards to that reverse process to the point where like men are now we're not even the dominant force in the work force right now in the United States.
And you know what, Pastor Chris, and you are right about that because I have seen a lot of women are driving trucks now. And that was only for the men to do with get the CDL and to drive the trucks across the highway, across the country. So that was for men to do, and for a woman. Me personally, that's something that I wouldn't do because I'd be like, no, I'm scared. That's something that I can't do. But a lot of women are in that field. So it's like the women's now are doing the same thing the men are doing.
But do you guys, would you say because of the lack of male participation in the household, particularly in men that are, that stray away from their responsibilities, have put women in that situation where they have to make a living for themselves? They have to be the mom / the father / the uncle and take on all of these different roles right now, because of the lack of male participation in the lives, not picking up their slack. So, hey, if we're not going to do it as males, and I'm only talking from a male perspective, then who's going to do it for them?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you, Trey, in that regards, man. Like, and that's part of the reason why they have dominated the actual workforce, because they have to. I don't think it's done out of will. It's done out of necessity. Like, they don't. I don't think a lot of women. And I mean, and maybe some of the ladies in the chat could attest to this. And Miss Andrea, maybe you can attest to this, because I know my wife, and I can speak for her. She's not on the podcast today, but I know 110%. If I told her she didn't have to work anymore tomorrow, she would. I mean, she would drop her job like a bad habit. You know what I mean? Like, she would. you,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know right now, if I said, "Hey, you know what, babe? We got 50 million in the bank. You never got to work again." I know she ain't gonna be like, "Well, what about my career? What about my?" No, she'll be like, "Absolutely." You know. She's not
Exactly.
gonna waste any time. But so, like, I feel like we, as men, have put the women in that place where they have to be so many different things, man. Again, and that's that reverse, because back in the day, the man was the superhero. You know what I mean? He
Mm-hmm.
would be the
Right.
one that would, he would, a lot of times he would go out there, get the money for the bacon, then come home, and then he
Right.
might not cook in the kitchen, but men like to barbecue, so we'll
Mhm.
barbecue it up on the weekends. We
Mhm.
were the providers and protectors. But that it just has it's reversed now, in that instance, and I just think I say think I'm trying to figure out, how do we re-reverse it, or can it be re-reversed?
That's a good question. Okay, so let me get Bree comment in the chat room first. Bree said, if my husband told me I didn't have to work, I would still work, but only cut down to part time. I need my own money.
I feel
And
that.
I agree with that too, Bree.
Yeah, yeah. I think how we get back to that, Chris, is we have to go back to men being men. And
Mm,
I don't know, back you're talking about back in the day when there were real men, when
yeah.
there were husbands. You know what I mean? There were guys going out. Men would go out and be providers for their families. You know what I
Right.
mean? And they, like you said, they would bring home the bacon, and maybe she might fry it in the pan. But we were cutting grass. We were,
Yeah.
we were doing this stuff, to make it our house chores. I call it the male house chores versus
Right.
the
Yeah.
women, in their
Yes.
house chores. And I'm not saying that, women should just be cooking and cleaning and folding clothes and laundry. I'm not saying that, the man doesn't have to participate in that and have his, bring his share to the game. But I'm just simply
Right.
saying is going to back being a man. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, and then I think what happened is the females, the women out here, they are taking on the male responsibility,
Right.
and then what happens is when they have males or when they have sons, they because we've said this before, because they can't teach a man how to be one, they have
Right.
to teach them only what they know as from a woman's perspective.
Right.
And
Right.
so now you have these men, and this is no knock at you ladies. I mean, maybe slightly, but we can curve on that right now for that. But I'm just saying some of these guys or these men, young men that are growing up in a single family home where there's only the mother,
Right.
they are dependent on their mother and not a man. So they
Right.
don't
Right.
know what it takes to be a man,
Right.
or what to do as a young male or young teenager or a young adult. So
Exactly.
Right.
yeah, and so now when they go out and find a woman, they're not looking for a wife. They're looking for
For a
another
mother.
mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I
Wow.
think
Yep.
that has taken on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah.
and I agree, and so and that's the crazy part, is because, and that's where, to me, the feminization of men have come into play. It has become a natural thing, because you can only, it's almost like you can only produce what you've seen. You know what I mean? If you're not exposed to anything different, so if you grew up in a house, now this is not knocking on any women or any man who was raised by a single parent or a single mother with a house full of sisters. I'm not saying that, but what happens is that you don't know how to tap into the side, because every man has an emotional and a feminine side.
Right.
Point blank. Period. It is the truth. But the fact of it is that you have to understand how, I don't want to say control it, but that there are certain things that, like, just men, we just don't do. You know what I mean? And not trying to be funny, but like, you're not going to catch me in skinny jeans. Now, some straight legs, cool, but skinny jeans, like, I'm just, first of all, I'm too old. Okay, you know what I mean? I think like, now a teenager maybe in some skinny jeans, I know that's the quote unquote, that's the style now, but it's so much has changed over time, man. It's ridiculous. The stuff that used to be cool to us, and this is men and women, is now lame to our kids. Like, that's the reverse. You see what I'm saying? Like, it is now super lame. If I were to walk into a place right now with some starched jeans and a nice plaid button up, I think I'm cool, with some Pumas on, and I'll get laughed out the building.
Because you decided to show up with an iron shirt and an iron pair of pants, because nobody does that anymore. You remember when nobody would get caught out with wrinkled jeans when we were, and now it's reversed. Like, no, you just throw them in the dryer, Dad. It's cool. Then put them on. Like, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Hey, Gail, what up, Gail and Erica, Shamika? I didn't see all y'all in there. Hey, Bree.
Y'all, how y'all doing?
Yeah, y'all chime in. 512-827-9164. We are talking about how things are reversed, and we're talking about the male from a male perspective. But yeah, man, I don't know. What's going on in the chat room, Andrea?
Okay, so Bree just said, hey, fellas, do you think it's female for a husband to help his wife take down her braids or polish her nails?
I want to be the first one to answer that. I have a house full of women, okay? So no, as a father and a husband, absolutely not, because I've done it. I've done all of it. I've washed the hair. I've done nails. I've had my nails done, especially when you have your baby girl's growing up and she thinks she want to be a beautician. So you got to sit there and do the tea parties and all of that. But yeah, I don't think it's feminine when you're doing it for your family, Now I'm not out here taking appointments, doing people's you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And so all I know is what they've shown me. So if you want it done a different way, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, this is all I can do,
Right.
So you better take these box braids and get on out of here.
That is time consuming. We need some help.
I'm not gonna lie. I had all boys, so I've never. I don't know if I consider it feminine to take down. I don't think it'd be feminine to take down her braids, polishing her nails. I mean, if I had to,
you have to be open-minded.
You know what? If she asked me, yes. If I was married and she asked me, yes, I would.
Yeah,
I would, because that would be, pleasing to her. Somehow I'm going to get payment for that. Somehow. Later on that night, maybe.
Gonna cash in that IOU.
Yeah, I'm going to cash in that IOU, brother. That was a good question, though, Bree. I like that. That was.
That was a good question. Hey, you know what? We're talking about from a male perspective, but I want to, can I flip it real quick, guys?
Man,
Let's talk about, we're talking about reverse. So, as we get older, and this is just generalization at this point, but one thing we noticed that at some point your life is going to reverse. You were born as a kid wearing diapers, right? As you get older, you will reverse back into those diapers in the name of Depends. like, how do you prepare yourself for that reverse that is irreversible?
That's good. You looking at me? You want it?
No.
Oh, you know how you prepare for that? If you have kids, you prepare by making sure you treat them right. Because they're going to be the ones taking care of your old and gray tail whenever it's all said and done. And you can either be there in the comforts with them, or you
in
can
a nursing home.
Yep. I think. I don't know. You know, but it is funny. It is funny how things, you know, reverse. You know what I mean?
It is.
Nothing's new under the sun. You know what I mean? I think that's biblically spoken. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the only way you can prepare for that. I mean, you have to prepare for the inevitable. You know what I mean? I mean, we all are born and we are going to die. So at the end of the day, just like we prepare to have eternal life for those that are Christians, I think the same way. I mean, you get prepared and hopefully you take care of your bodies before it gets to that point. Because I've seen 70 and 80-year-olds in great shape that still go to the gym to this day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, you know what, Trey? I'm working on it. Okay, I'm working on it.
I wasn't throwing no shades.
No. I'm just saying, like, you know, when people say stuff and it hits you, it hits you. It is what it is. Like, but at the end of the day, dude, like I know a lot of people in their upper age, in their wisdom years, and look great. You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, I'm just thinking, like, you go from being a baby with no teeth, then you go back to not having any. Like, you know, just like the reverse. You know, and then, you know, a lot of that's so crazy. You talk about working out, like, even for a man's ego is played into that. And the reason I say that is, as a man gets older, all we do is recapture. Have you met that man that always tries to relive or recapture his younger years when he was in his 20s and his 30s? I mean, like, dude, you're 72. You know, and you still want to, you know what I mean? You want to recapture or relive those years. You talk about working out, bro. Like, I know there's men out there that are in their, you know, 60s that are hurting, that have hurt themselves trying to lift what they lifted when they were in their, you know, 30s and 40s. Like, you're not that guy anymore. You know what I mean? Like, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like,
Wow. I tell you what, guys, let's take a commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll pick up with Reverse, hosted by Chris McAllister. Keep it locked right here on the Next 15. Attention business owners, entrepreneurs, podcast hosts, or even churches. Do you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise to help spread the word and boost sales for your business or organization? Then allow Next 15 Podcast Production to produce your next advertisement with a professional voiceover. We have over 20 years of experience in creating voiceovers for churches, city government departments, and online businesses. Next 15 Podcast Production will assist you with your next project using our professional studio equipment along with our experience. Let us create your next voiceover that will take your business or organization to the next level. Go to next15podcast.com and click on Voiceover Work tab to preview the actual voiceover commercials that were created for our business affiliates. You can also contact us at next15podcast@gmail.com. Next 15 Podcast Production, where voiceovers and businesses simply go together. You're listening to the Next 15 Podcast Show with Trey North on Spreaker.com. We're back with the Next 15 Podcast Show. On this night's episode, Reverse, hosted by Chris McAllister. Want to say again, thank you. If you're just coming in, we're doing a show called Reverse, and you guys, I tell you what, Pastor Chris is doing a great job. We want to thank, first of all, before we go back into that, those that are those that sponsor some of our shows and sponsor the Next 15 period, that are givers toward the Next 15, are Buy Me Coffee givers, such as Gail. We have Gail. We have Lord, my mind is slipping now. Renee Anders. We also have Vanessa Woods White, Andrea herself. Thank you, Andrea, for buying coffee. Shamika. And if we forgot you, Lord, forgive us. I charge it to my heart, on my head, not my heart. But thank you so much for being supporters of the Next 15 podcast. If you would like to support the Next 15 podcast, go to next15podcast.com. Go to the reviews tab. Leave us a review while you're there, but you can also click the Buy Me Coffee tab, and it will also it will go to our account to help us burn the midnight oil and create great episodes that you love and you trust. So we'll give it back to Chris McAllister, and we'll continue with this episode of Reverse.
Yeah, man, good to be back. So we were just talking about reverse. I want to hit it from another standpoint, man. And this is kind of go relational. And if I say anything that really hits somebody, I want you guys to really pump it up in the chat or give us what you've experienced in this manner. But have you ever in a relationship seen the reverse where the person goes into a relationship and they went in not being the aggressor, and then in the middle of the relationship or the marriage or whatever may have you, they reverse on you and they have now become the aggressor, or the quiet individual turns into the one who likes to argue? Have you ever experienced that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll give you a reverse. I'll tell you something in reverse that's funny to me. Today, I went parasailing with Andrea, and she was telling everybody on the boat with us that I was the scary one. When I was just over there, praying and trying to keep myself within the, I want to go to heaven, but just not today. Right. And she was telling everybody that I was the scary one. Well, when we got up in the air, it was a reverse. She passed out a couple of times, and I was like, open your eyes. Are you asleep up here? This is $75 a pop. What's up? You better open your eyes. You know what I'm saying?
You better experience this experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when she did finally wake up, I'm like, hey, put this video on. We're finna do a video up here in the air. And you can catch that video at Next 15 Podcast or your Trey Dorth on Facebook, Instagram.
That's so funny.
Oh, man.
That was reversed because I did try to keep him calm the whole time. Like,
she tried to keep me calm.
Yeah. I said, calm down. It's going to be all right. Oh, that was something different.
Whatever.
Yes.
I know that had to be something. I wish I was there, man, because when Trey gets when he gets a little nervous, he gets quiet. You know what I mean? That's how you know he's really nervous. When he ain't nervous, he gonna give you the business. You understand what I'm saying? He gonna give you the business. But if you're a little nervous, he'll come to you. He comes to himself. You know what I mean? And he's like real mellow.
Yeah. I'll say that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, he was quiet. He was quiet.
That's funny. But yeah, have y'all ever experienced that, or have watched somebody experience that where they were the person that you thought was the sweet, quiet, humble individual, and halfway into the friendship, the relationship, the marriage, that person reverse on you, or we can say reverse or show their true selves, where you figure out that they not as quiet or they not as lenient, as they once were, or what they actually decided I say decided or tried to be.
Well, Chris, I said I haven't experienced it, but let me go back, because I think in every relationship a reverse takes place. And what I mean by that is, you have the ecstasy phase, where the first, couple of months or 3 months, it's different because you're getting to know someone. And I think a lot of people are reserved, when they first meet somebody that they really like. And then as they become comfortable, certain characteristics or attributes about that person comes out later on. So you might have the quiet type that didn't say much at first in the beginning, and then or didn't clown as much as they did before, but then all of a sudden they get real comfortable, and you be like, "Who? Wait a minute, who is this? I don't know this person. I don't know who that is."
Yeah.
So I'll say in that respect, yeah, man, I think there's a reverse. The reverse card comes out because the mascara comes off, or Yeah.
So, Miss
I
Andrea,
agree.
have you ever experienced that? Like, even even in your kids, they're one way when they're around you, when they get around their friends and they reverse it on you. You know what I mean? Like, has it ever happened? Because I know my kids do it to me all the time. It makes me so sick, by the way.
Yeah, yes, my kids when they at home, it's
Hmm.
like they are the laid back kids. You know, sometimes they be like, don't, sometimes they say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, whatever, and they just be joking, and then let somebody come around, or
Hmm.
they just statues, or they on their best behavior. You know, my
Uh,
kids tend to do that. And then when y'all see my kids, they be like, "Oh, Miss Hill, Andrea, you have the best, well behaved kids." I be like, "Okay, just let them go. Just let them come home, come to my house for a day. Let them do something they ain't supposed to do. Then yeah, I have my belt in my hand or whatever the closest thing to me. They gonna catch it.
yeah.
So they are, and I always tell them, wherever you embarrass me at, that's where I'm gonna embarrass you at. So whether it be at school, whether it be at Walmart, that's what's gonna happen at. So don't do it.
So you tell your kids, I'm gonna give unto you what you give to me, good measure, pressed down, shaken.
Exactly. You say it every Sunday. Yes,
Oh
I'm
man,
sorry.
that's
Uh,
true though. That they do pull the reverse.
they do.
They really do. Because my people you say that too about my kids. I be like, they just burned down the Empire State Building last week. No, they're not. They just shot Smokey the Bear when we tried to see
right.
Smokey the Bear. They're like, no, no,
It's like eel Smeal the bear.
yeah. Like, no, they just stole something out of the store and had to go make them take it back. No, they never. I'm lying. I'm lying.
Okay. And Bree said in the chat room, yes, Bree, I am one of them old school mamas. It's the reverse. That's how it was given to me.
Hmm.
So that's how I give it to my kids.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't have time
Funny.
out. We didn't have. My mama didn't say much. She didn't tell you but one
Once.
time.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that. And then that's why my finger curved. Y'all see the finger? Because mama, I'm sorry, mama. I did it again. I love you, mama. I'm
You know,
sorry.
that's right.
Like
I was like,
she
what
hit me
is
with
time
a
out?
she hit me with a wooden shoe one time and it curved my finger and then my finger didn't get she didn't it was broke, I think. I don't know. I promise.
I'm sorry. Oh, she go get you. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
She go get you.
I know.
So, so okay. Let's go into this,
All right.
and and you guys help me out here, okay? So we've all seen the Kirk Franklin video, right?
Okay, let's talk about
Yes.
this. I know we
So here's the reverse, because I'm saying how do you feel about the reverse in Christianity for people, especially of his stature, okay? Of Kirk Franklin's stature, and I get the situation with the son and all that good stuff, but the reverse of you now hearing him outside of the the New Nation crew, Kirk Franklin, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like the performer thereof, you got to see the reverse of what he could possibly be behind the scenes, right?
Okay. So can you, for those before you go further, can you tell those that may
Yeah.
have not heard the story or witnessed the story what you're talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I want to say it happened about a week ago. I think that maybe Saturday last week. Kirk Franklin was on the phone with his adult son, his 32-year-old son, his son by his first girlfriend. They had him in their early years as they were teenagers, and so they've always had an estranged relationship between Kirk Franklin and his oldest son. Well, what's been happening through their family through these years, they've had counseling and all that good stuff, and so there's always been animosity again between the two. Well, there was a moment where Kirk Franklin is on the phone with his son, I can't remember the son's name, so please forgive me. But he's on the phone with his son, and the conversation gets heated, and Kirk Franklin begins to cuss. Now, the only part that we were able to hear or that was recorded was Kirk Franklin cussing his son out, right? And I mean, and he cussed him out pretty well, or pretty good, if you will. And so, and then the son posted that on social media, and then it became this big thing. And since then, Kirk's been on two radio show and a TV show to apologize. He's also apologized via his social media. But everybody's a lot of people are split down the line. But I've seen people tending to cover for Kirk a little bit, I don't mean in a bad way, but I totally understand, to be very honest with you, on my end. And so I want to get your opinion on how y'all feel about that situation that happened with Kirk. The reverse of now you see what maybe happens in the background.
And by the way, Gail said Carry-On, I hope I'm saying that right, is the son's name.
Yeah, that is his name. Thank you, Miss Gail.
Yes, thank you, Miss Gail. 512-827-9164. What do you guys think? Personally, while we're waiting on maybe somebody to comment on that, you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. Kids will take you there. I mean, I mean, he's a Christian. I'm a Christian. The difference between he's just in the spotlight, and I'm not. But I mean, sometimes your kids will take you there, man. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, we're human. At the end of the day, we're human. We're flawed individuals, and we make mistakes. I'm not condoning him, maybe saying he should have done it or handled it that way. But I could certainly understand, if the temperature rose to that degree, and his buttons were pushed, and he's only human. He let him have it, and I heard it. I did. I saw it, and based on the information, like you said, I mean, he took him there. But
exactly.
he took Kurt there, and Kurt said, "What you didn't hear is on the phone trying to get the therapist, and to assess the situation or be the mediator, if you will, of the situation." But I mean, let's just be real. I don't know no parent that ain't cussed their child out once or twice.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, I think even the Christian community understood, like, not saying you should get a pass, but kind of, you get a pass. I mean, you got a pass with me. I'm like, okay, if he took you there, he took you there.
Right.
Right.
But how I feel, at the end of the day, we're all human. He just have a certain title in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. And kids are kids, like my kids my daughter had took me there. So my oldest daughter. And so I have said some things to her. She said some things to me as well. But at the end of the day, the disrespect came to me first. I did not expose her. I did not record it, just to bash her, because she did not do it towards me neither. So I can relate to that situation, but at the end of the day, he's not wrong for what he did.
Right. Right. I totally agree with you. And my thing is that this, cussing out some children is one thing. And, I've done it, right hand to the man. We ain't nobody perfect, but this is a 32-year-old grown man. You know what I mean? Like, right. and that's what I think also people have to put into perspective. Kirk wasn't dealing with no little boy. You know what I'm saying? Kirk was dealing with a grown man. And sometimes you got to deal with a grown man in a grown man way. You know what I mean? And, and this is not me condoning anything, but, like you said, Trey, like your kids, especially if you've been estranged for this long, and, no telling what Mr. Carry-On said prior, because the first thing you hear Kirk Franklin say is that you will never disrespect me.
Right.
We don't know what Carry-On said first and foremost.
Correct.
And so to get Kirk there, but whatever he said, it surely got him there.
Yeah,
And that lets you know that he knows how to push Kirk's buttons, and he
Right.
of
does it
course.
on, and I mean, when you listen to Kirk cuss, I ain't gonna lie to you, God forgive me, but like Kirk was cussing, but you can tell he don't cuss all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Mhm.
Because it just didn't flow right. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's a cadence to a good cusser. You know what I mean? There's a good cadence. I'm just
Okay.
playing. But
Okay, guys. So Gail said in the chat room, sometimes grown folks just need a good cuss out. We don't need to go to counseling for it. You ain't heard me say, so I'm going to be harsh with my words before I use my hands. And just because he's a gospel figure doesn't affect my opinion of him. Social media and counsel culture is apologized for everything. Has apologized for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Bree also said, I'm a born again, blood washed Christian, and I cuss sometimes too. In every house in America has hidden microphones. You'll hear a lot more cussing than you think. The grown son is wrong for making it public.
Is she right?
Right.
If you did have a microphone,
Yeah, brother.
you would hear some stuff you shouldn't be hearing. That is so
That's
true.
correct.
That
That's
is.
true.
I'm in agreement with Gail too. She's like, hey, sometimes grown folk need a good cussing, and you right, Gail. We don't need no counseling for that. You just need to be
Right.
cussed out. That is the counseling. I'm counseling you with these cuss words.
I brought you in this world. I'll take you out.
I take you out. Yeah.
Yes.
Take your, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all remember
Right.
on Martin? Martin was like,
Oh,
"You
yeah.
stupid." That's not the story.
Oh, God, I remember that episode. I'm sorry.
Bree says, "I'm a professional cusser, so I make it flow, so I can make
Exactly.
it flow." Exactly. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
That was so good back in my heyday. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was good. I could rattle them jokers off because I was a funny cuss. I would do it just because it was funny. You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm-
but you know,
I mean,
it's.
good.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was it. That was it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but it is kind of like how roles have reversed, man. Like kids have gotten so bold now. I mean, to talk back to their parents, and they feel like they can say whatever they want to say. You know what I mean? It's like the millennials, like this new generation. I mean, it's okay for them to express it. No, it's not, because if you say the wrong thing, I mean, good thing. I'm pretty sure if Kurt was right there in front of him. Like, I don't know if he was in front of him. I don't think he was in front of him.
No, it was over the phone.
Okay, so I pretty much think it wouldn't be no cussing. Kurt would have probably put them hands on him. Now, would he would have been
Right.
wrong if he would have knocked him smooth out? If he would have slapped him to sleep? Would that have been wrong if he put his hands on him?
Is
You
it
know?
his son?
I don't know. I don't know. And like Gail mentioned, I mean, hey, he was like, hey, the son looking for fame and money or attention. And here's the thing about it. I think he didn't, the reverse of that happened, because I think every person in America, especially black people, Christian black people, may I say, listen,
Right.
they like, oh, okay, well, hey, I've done it too. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, and Gail in the chat room said, I would never at this age cuss out my mom or her peers, no matter how upset I get. And I agree with you, Gail. When you get a certain age or how you rate, you
Right.
always respect your elders. Especially
Right.
your parents, regardless of how mad you get,
Right.
you just not going to disrespect them.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
again, like and not to say Miss Gail is old or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure she's probably around, I would say, our age, or if not, I mean, she didn't come from this generation here. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's just stuff you just don't do.
It's the millenniums.
Yeah, it's the millennials. Yeah, it is the millennials. The millennials, or however you ever say it. I mean, I just think it's just like you said. I mean, and it also comes from I just think it's sometimes how they're raised. You know what I mean? Because if you
Yeah.
have a parent that doesn't show respect to people, and that has a fly mouth, then all they're doing is learn behavior. You know what I mean?
Right.
In my opinion.
I would say sometimes it could be from the influence from their friends. So if
Yeah.
they friends are disrespecting their parents, then they gonna think it's okay to do it to their parents.
Right.
Okay.
You know what? I agree with that too. I agree that you are very, very, very influenced by your surroundings. So if you have friends that can say whatever they want to say to their mama and their daddy, and there's no repercussions, you know what I
Right.
mean? Then you'll get bold and test it and try. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But again, I sometimes, like Trey said, I put it back on the parents too, a little bit, because I want you to test me, because I want you to know how far you can and cannot go. I
Right.
want you to test me so I can chop you in your throat, so you know what to and what not to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I
Right.
really, and my kids have let's be honest, I got some grown kids. They have tested me, and they mama, and they know exactly where that line is, you know what I mean? And they don't get close to it anymore, because I think they know me and my wife, we quick to jump over that line ourselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you got too close to it, like, wait, hold on, don't
I'm not a
hold
killer,
it,
but don't push me.
don't push.
Don't you push me.
Right, Trey, right.
Okay, guys. So Bree in the chat room
Oh, my
said,
goodness.
"My mama always said, no matter how old, did she just okay? How old you get, you will never be growner than me. It's all about respect at any age." And I agree with that one. And then Gail said, "My grandmother was a great cusser. She cussed everybody out and people she loved.
And
She,
people loved her.
yeah, people loved her. She who I learned how to cuss from. She's who I learned how to cuss from."
You know what? Learned behavior, Gail. Yep.
Yeah, learn behavior.
Learned behavior. My cousin, Chris, I love you, but your mama, bless her heart, rest her soul, she could cuss. His mama would come up. His mama would come up with some names I've never heard. She'd be like, "Come here, you slink." Like, what is a slink?
What is a slink?
Then she'll hit him with a bleep bleep bleep. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you no bleepy bleepy bo.
Them swear words.
Yeah.
Man, they get it. Hey, dude, my mama and my daddy, of course, they, the bishops, the doctors in the house, but don't get it twisted. Like,
Yeah.
you push my mama there, bro, she'll let you know. She'll let you know. The first time I ever heard my mama cuss, it scared the mess out of me. You know what I mean? Because I had never heard her cuss. And then at that time when she used some words. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know you knew those words. Wait a minute, I'm offended, but I didn't say that because I'm not a millennial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think most most Christians and most people in regards to that Kurt Franklin situation, it's not uncommon. It's happened before. Guys, I'm very interested in knowing you guys. Anything you guys got out there in the chat room as far as how things have been reversed or changed in life, man. We welcome your comments at 512-827-9164. Yeah, man. Well, we almost an hour already. Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Man. What else you got for us?
Great. So I mean, you know what? This will be my last one.
Okay.
But one thing that we all kind of love, from just generation to generation, no matter what color creed you are, is music, and how the music you grew up
Yes.
with, and what you decided to like. Like, again, I grew up, again, forgive me, I'm a 80s, and so I love
Yeah.
rap, and how now rap has reversed. Like, I can't stand it now. It's not the rap that I grew up. You know what I mean? It's not the
Yeah.
rap that I grew up with. And the same for my parents. They would say the same thing about my music. Is the music that they had or that they listened to was better than ours. But it's reversed though. This form of music nowadays is totally different from any form of music
I agree.
Yep.
It is.
ever. So I want to get y'all opinion on how the music has reversed in your life, or has it?
It has, because I'm still listening to my old school music. I don't even, I listen to some of the new stuff, but like R&B, what happened? Like, remember we had the boy band R&Bs, and and
the
then
clean music.
the good music with the men, and then now I hear more R&B coming from the female side. Which females have always sung R&B. Don't get me wrong, but I mean you don't hear that anymore. It's like I don't even listen to what half of these guys are saying because they're not talking about anything. They be moaning when they sing anyway.
Right.
Like, I just understand. I'm like, what? I just want to take it. Like Tommy with GTD. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I don't know, man. Oh look. I'm not gonna stray from that music, but I did see something in the chat room, Andrea. It said, "How about the basketball shorts? They're back to being short versus the long ones." Oh, that is so. Yes, you are right. They used to wear them little tighty shorties, the short ones.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas and them back in the day, Larry Bird and them. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And also, Miss Gail said the music now the people are on Percocets and Molly, which I can't understand.
You can't, Gail.
That is so true. I think
You're right.
it was a TV show somebody was interviewing, and the only way that they be able to make music is when they was high.
It sounds like it too.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness.
That's real talk.
Just said something, bro, that he's like you brought up the boy bands, man. Like, and I just thought about like all the boy bands that we used to listen to. Like, you remember like Blackstreet, bro?
Yeah.
Bill DeVoe. Like, we always used to mess with Trey with Bill DeVoe, Drew Hill.
None of them exist.
Like, none of them legit. Dude, Jodeci, Jagged Edge. Like,
now Jagged Edge still making some hits though, but I mean you got some of the few old school ones in there. But I mean you're right, Chris. Where are they? I mean where? Like I don't know.
We might need to do a podcast on 90s music, bro. 90s and 80s and 90s music, bro.
Ooh, you know what? And how it relates or how it related back then. Hey, if y'all want to hear that, y'all hit me up in the chat room right now. Let me know. Rod, what's up, Rod? He says he hates those Daisy Duke basketball shorts. They were Dukes. They were like 1 inch from being a cheek out, man. I'm telling you. I do remember that. So they're going back to the tighties, man.
And Bree said, "I'm a fan of Keith Sweat. Nobody else." Oh, I love Keith Sweat too.
Yeah. I think a 80s or the 90s podcast would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Man.
ladies and that's all I had for you on Reverse for tonight. But if you actually want to see or hear an episode 2, I'll definitely come up with something when it makes me.
Oh man, I think we're getting comments about that 90s music and 80s music in the chat room. We might have to do that, bro. I've enjoyed the podcast, man. I really have, man.
Thank you.
I did. Good job, Pastor Chris.
Yeah. It kind of put things in perspective today, especially when we're talking about, respect, our parents and respect coming from our kids, and then how the male, they're kind of like male role models that was doing what men should do, kind of got on the back burner. You know what I mean? How men are wearing dresses and bringing the Louis Vuitton bags and. Men are Merces, as you want to call them, as they call them, Merces. And they got Louis and the chick walking around here with a Liz Claiborne. Like, come on now, your purse is better than hers. What? Yeah. But nah.
I hate you, Dre.
Oh, Bree, I see you. When we're gonna have an episode about 90s music, we need a date. I tell you what. Keep it locked. I got some things coming down the pike. We have some special guests coming up real soon. So, you know what? Keep it locked. Stay with us at Next 15. You're going to help me segue out of here. Thank you. Follow us at Next 15 Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube so that you can find out when new episodes are coming. What you got? What you got, Andrea? Andrea's flagging me down.
Okay, so before you leave the show, Trey has a birthday coming up on Tuesday.
Oh my God.
So
yeah.
I could not forget to say happy birthday to you from the Next 15. So y'all don't forget to give him a shout out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
absolutely.
you. Thank
Happy
you.
early birthday, Trey.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cash App, $ Trey North. $TRENORTH.
You want to put in the chat room for you?
Yeah, put it in the chat room.
Yeah,
God, let them God use them as they come.
as they come.
Okay, say it one more time.
$TRENORTH. Trey North. $ Trey North. Anyway, y'all, I do appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. You'll never get back these 54 minutes and counting. But listen, go to next15podcast.com. If you like our shows, like this episode, leave us a nice review. And also, go back and listen to some of our episodes. We got some dope episodes, and we would love to hear your opinions about them. You can also follow us again on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at Next15 Podcast. Also, you can send us an email at next15podcast@gmail.com. Just before I go, I have to plug excuse me, ECOD Ministries with Monica Rivers, Pastor Monica Rivers. Tomorrow, go to eventbrite.com. She has an event called Healthy Body, Healthy Mind, True Wealth is Health, and it starts at 11:30 to 2:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The Healthy Body and Mind, True Wealth and Health is designed to equip kingdom citizens to live a full life according to the Word of God. And the primary purpose of this conference is to teach the body of Christ on how to live a balanced life mentally, physically, and spiritually in accordance to His Word. And listen, I'm telling you, you guys don't want to miss this. She has special guests coming, celebrities. There's going to be also on there, and they'll also have breakout sessions and things of that nature. And also, before we go, I just want to give a shout out to Juan Aleman from the 80s Hour. And the Wrestling Wayback Podcast. You can find him on Spreaker.com. He does a great live show. Both shows are great. And if you're into the 80s, he's got everything there. From the 80s all the way from candies to movies to clothes, anything that has to do with the 80s, he's your man, and you want to definitely be tuning into his show and his Wrestling Wayback Podcast show. Want to give a shout out to Rod Garrett. Thanks for listening, owner of Ball Bearded Blessed. Go to ballbeardedblessed.com. Breeze Bonnets, hit her up at Instagram at Breeze Bonnets. And for everybody else that is listening, thank you so much. We'll see you next Friday, same time, same place, right here on the Next 15 Podcast.